Now if we're all ready, we'll move on to our second speaker, Robert Hauske. Speech entitled A Fool in Love. Robert is presenting the speech to the club to receive group feedback in a round robin format. So be listening closely because you might get called on. Anyone that has any ideas or comments on pacing, speech meaning, and general flow of the speech will be able to comment. This speech will be given at the next Division A contest this Saturday, October 24th at 10 a.m. So mark your calendars, make sure you're there. Again, here is Robert Hauske, A Fool in Love.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. And fellow Toastmasters, tonight I'd like to share with you a true story. A true story! And the 3 life lessons I learned on my journey being a fool in love. I fell in love with an older woman. She was 14. I was 15. She was a cheerleader, played the French horn. I was a nervous boy with a cracking voice. I was at her house one day and I'd been drinking. I was on my 4th or 5th Mountain Dew. Needed that liquid courage. Because that day I had one mission. I had to ask Belinda Meyer to the skating party. And that day I had one problem. I had to ask Belinda Meyer to the skating party. I was a fool in love. I was 14. I had never heard of Toastmasters, but I'm very grateful there was not an ah counter that day because they would have had their work cut out for them. I was umming and oohing and cuckoo-ca-chewing. I was E-I-E-I-O-ing. I was clutching. I was double clutching. I was wiki, triple clutching. Skating, party. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Party. Skating. I sound like a bad rap song, is what I'm trying to say, folks. My little wimpy Mickey Mouse voice. Just, oh boy, we're going skating, huh? Have you heard of skating, Belinda? You familiar with skating? It's a boot, you have wheels on it, and you skate at the rink. And I was wondering if you maybe want to do a couple skate. They do a couple skate, and I can skate backwards. Na, 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 na. Oh my God, was that Journey? Of course I'll skate with you. It's a date. Date? She said date. This is the best day of my life. USA, USA. I was a fool in love. As I was leaving her house, this voice in my head, it just got louder and louder and louder. Dude, you got to tell her how you feel, man. The voice in my head, I call him Alex. He's kind of a surfer type. You got to tell her how you feel, bro. Belinda, I love you. Tell her you're going to marry her. I'm 14. You got to tell her, man. Belinda, I love you, and I'm going to marry you. So I'm just driving my bike through her neighborhood like a lunatic, yelling, I love you. I'm going to marry you. I think only dogs could hear me at that point. Roar, 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 roar. And as I go around the corner of the house, there are her parents, her 10 feet tall dad. They're looking at me like I'm Bigfoot. And they start laughing and pointing, Dumko Fliba, come here, Dumko Fliba. I just take off on my bike. Please, God, make me invisible. Please, dear God, make me invisible. I found out later that Dumko Fliba in German means fool in love. I was so embarrassed. I couldn't sleep that night. I stared at my ceiling and wondering if her parents were going to call my parents. Was this somehow going to be on the nightly news? It was a small town. I had no idea. I couldn't text her. I couldn't even email her. Well, because it was the 80s and those things did not exist then. Back when I was a boy, we didn't have the internet. We used to have to communicate in person. Times were hard. So the next day I go back. Belinda's mother answered the door. Welcome, Dummkopf Liebe. She gives me a great big hug. Honey, Dummkopf Liebe's here. Her dad comes in. Hey, it's Dummkopf Liebe. Hey, a fool in love. Her dad sounded just like Bob Dylan, I swear. Hey, I was once a fool in love myself. Love is very subtle. And you're about as subtle as a brick through a window. Thank you, sir. It's good advice. Yes. Well, Belinda and I, we never were married, but we did have that couplerscape. And she even held my hands. Na, 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 na. We're still friends to this day. And she told me they still say goodbye with, bye, Belinda, we love you, we're gonna marry you. Her dad called our romance Romeo's debacle. Or as he said, it's Romeo's debacle. We've been there for each other. The good times, the bad times, the 2 o'clock in the morning drunken phone call when you just broke up with somebody. I don't know what happened. I thought this was real. I thought this was love. And that was me calling her. Now I've played the fool in love many, 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 many times in my life. And I learned 3 lessons. Number 1, you don't have to always listen to that voice in the head. Number 2, it's okay to be a fool in love. And if you find another fool in love, it can be magic. And number 3, somewhere in your heart beats that innocent child you once were. I encourage you to let it out, to laugh, to sing, to dance, to play, and never stop being a Dummkopf Liebe, a fool in love. Contest chair.